welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. Up this time is Nectar of the Gods. It's a bit of an unusual title for a likewise unusual game. I guess the best way to put this is it's a bug-themed tower defense game. Just not a usual kind of tower defense game. It's more a PvP P or a PvE, depending on what mode you select, kind of tower defense game. That is to say, you send very.
I guess it is. I was gonna say it doesn't look like one. It looks like a board game, but
Yeah, it looks like a board game. It's kind of an RTS. It's kind of a tower defense game. It's
but you are protecting your side of the board from the enemy bugs from getting there and trying to get to their other side. So
yeah, if nothing else, this isn't. So it's got that going for it, I suppose.
This isn't. So it's got that you dropped out
Yeah.
there. And that's the important part, I think.
Right. Yeah, as I was saying, this isn't like any sort of game I've played before in this specific confluence. So it's got that going for it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's a fairly limited game. I think it's the best way to put it. Because especially if you are playing the base free-to-play version, because the bugs you get are 8 in number, and they all have various functionalities and costs. That being said, this game is remarkably easy to pick up and play. You can even use the keyboard, or it works well with a controller. You just hold down one of the triggers and you select a bug, and
should also work with mouse, right?
Yeah, that kind of thing is what I'm saying. Like, and that being said, there's not much to this game. I mean that literally. Like, there's no sort of campaign mode. It's just bunch
it's
of
functionally a board game.
Yeah, and you can play in. I'm not sure if all 3 arenas are available in the base game. It's kind of something I've been dancing around to this point. This game is ostensibly free to play, but it does have DLC.
And the DLC is the other 2 teams you can play as. By default, you're playing as beetles.
Yes, the beetle.
And then the DLC has Hymenoptera, which is mostly bees, but also some ants and stuff. And the other one is spiders.
Yes. And
which is kind of interesting because it's like saying, okay, so here's chess, but with a little extra, if you pay additional money, you can instead play as a team that moves completely differently.
Right. And this is kind of the other issue with it's one thing that this is sectioned off, because like I said, this is ostensibly a free-to-play title. So you got to make the money somewhere, I suppose. The problem is the price for the DLC, because the Hive and the Spidey Party are $12.99 combined. I'm not sure if you can buy them individually, and there's no way around it. I got the DLC, which is why we're covering this, and it's got a provided by. This DLC is not worth $13.
I feel like the point of the DLC there is to be a way to spend money on the game if you already like the base game.
Right. I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying that what's provided in here is probably worth at most $5 combined. You know, $13. That is the price of like many full-fledged indie games that that we review on the show. You know, for fuck's sakes, that's about the that's coming close to the price of Dicey Dungeons, our first game of the evening, and that is just not a price I can recommend it at.
Yeah, because this is a game where you got your 8x8 board, and you place beetles or place bugs on squares on the board, and they try to get to your opponent's other side because each side of this board has either soda or milkshakes or something.
Yeah. By the way, that is the actual titular Nectar of the Gods. The nectar is sugar, or sugar drinks, and the gods are these beetle things, or what, or what
have the gods would be humans.
Sure, why not?
Because the humans are the ones that make it.
Fair enough. Anyway, the DLC pricing kind of ties into the other problem I had with the game, and that is, it's just it's just PV stuff. There's no campaign mode. I'm not sure if that's a thing that's going to be created for this, or if there is a roadmap.
Which again, it feels like this game was kind of built with a board game sensibility, and there's not a campaign mode in Checkers or Candyland.
Right, but it's also it's kind of a catch-22 here. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. It would give the game a significant increase in volume of content that it has.
Yeah.
Unless you really have someone you're going to play against a lot.
That being said, as far as the base game goes, the free game, yeah, I'd say this is worth a download. Once again, it's pretty short. But it plays fine. Just it's like, this is the kind of game that you might play for a couple rounds, and then move on to another thing. Even with the online, even if you get a second player here, it does have online PvP, and it does have split screen PvP as well. It's just, the gameplay is all right, but it's not all that compelling for long sessions, I'd say.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, especially since there's no monetary obligation at the start. There is a paid component, but you can, at the end of the day, ignore that. And my suggestion is that you do. But for a free game, yeah, this is recommended. Also worth noting, there is another bit of DLC, and that is the soundtrack, which is going for $4.99. You can get all of the DLC for $17.98. Soundtrack, I'm having a hard time remembering it, so that's an automatic. Can't recommend.
Oh, and it looks like the base game does include all of the arenas, which basically amount to terrain effects that happen on the stage.
Yeah.
Like, so there are neutral things, or there will be an avalanche of coffee beans occasionally, or
things of that sort. But and yeah, bit of a split recommend here. Free game, fine enough to download, but just stay away from the DLC at this point. Maybe if that comes down to a more reasonable price, go for it. But seriously, $13, I can't recommend that. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I think I'm
Me
good.
neither.
All right, so that'll about do it for Nectar of the Gods. And indeed, this will do it for our review session. The week ahead. So coming up on March 31st, the Wednesday, our good friend John Pickett of Manga Gamer is going to be showing up. He hasn't gotten back to me for confirmation, but I'm expecting the next couple of days because he knows how this goes. I'm just hoping that I don't have to tell him again that no, I can't take the fucking sexually explicit game on that you can only release on your website because I don't want my Twitch channel banned. You know, which has been which has been a bit of a
we might be able to have gameplay of that game, but just like have Petty Fan blur the entire window the whole time, regardless of what's on screen. I'm joking. It's just easier. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah, well, it's like maybe like we can do it if like the nudity is a few hours in. We've done that before. It's just we're not going to risk our channel for your sex game. I have to keep impressing that on him, and I don't know why. It's like he knows Twitch. He knows that they have certain fucking standards. So no, we can't show the tits. I mean, if we could, we'd probably get high. We would get higher ratings, I'd imagine, but we can't, so we won't. Anyway, coming up on Friday, April 2nd, we'll be having Nathaniel Ayer of Rockwell Studio. Maybe. That is to say, he's a bit concerned. He's expressed his concern about having power during that. Apparently, he lives in an area where blackouts are frequent, from what I gathered. Though apparently he is taking the precaution to make sure he will be available during that, during the time. Like apparently he'll make sure his phone is charged and that kind of thing. So hopefully all will go well there. And yeah, until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.